Okay, so let's get started. I would like to introduce Jodi Sasaki Miraglia. Jodi, I haven't used your hyphenated last name before, so I hope I pronounced that correctly. She is good. She is a head trainer. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, those of you who are Italian, the G is silent, but here in the U.S., everybody wants to pronounce the G. And so pretty much the only time that the G is silent is when I visited Italy once, and they got our last name. This is my husband's last name. They got it lickety split.
Oh, nice. So will you pronounce it for me, please?
Yeah, it's Miraglia. So
okay.
It's just no G, but Dr. Jodi is just fine. That'll work just fine, Dr. Tanner. Yep.
Okay, great. All right. So Dr. Jodi is the head trainer for the West for Widex. I've known Jodi, and she's been a trainer for over 20 years. She has been indispensable for our clinic, and I've always learned so much from her. So I will let her get started.
Okay, thank you.
One second, all right, Jodi.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. And I just first and foremost, I just wanted to thank Dr. Julie and her whole group there. You guys are all in such great care up there in the Sacramento region. And I know that, even now with, how things are in the world, it's nice to have somebody that's consistent as your healthcare provider up there in that area, because as you and I know how important communication is, and especially good communication, there's always new opportunities and information to be able to empower you as a person to be able to take control of your listening situation. And really what we were charged with today is just walking through how do you guys use the technology to help you in your everyday situations. So what Dr. Julie asked me to do is just go over with you just some education about the reality that we live in terms of wearing a mask. So I am from the island of Hawaii. I actually live down in Long Beach, California now. So we are not as hot as you are, but we are still dealing with some fires as well. So, in terms of being able to tune into the news or being able to call your friends or family, whether or not it's on a landline phone or a cell phone, or maybe you do some FaceTime or some other video application. When somebody wears a mask, as we all know, right, all of a sudden, not only does the speech attenuate or go down or get reduced, but we also lose so many critical lip cues. And even now, when I watch the news, it's so much easier when the sports or the newscaster doesn't wear their mask, especially if I know that they're far away from the camera person. It's so much easier to be able to pay attention when I see people's mouth move versus if I only see their eyeballs and I don't see anything else but their eyeballs, right? So as human beings, we look at the entire face in order for communication. And I know Dr. Julie has probably gone over that with you a lot. But specifically for the Widex technology, and those of you who just popped on within the last couple of minutes, if you have a Widex app, you may, Dr. Julia, are they wearing the Widex Evoke? Are they wearing the Widex Moment, or do we have a mix of people?
We have a mix.
Okay. So I will first, for those of you who have the Widex Evoke, I will first do a screen share of how you can use the app in order for you to deal with people who are wearing masks, which all of us should be wearing masks for safety when we go out in public. But the reality is different types of face masks can reduce people's speech by up to 10 to 12 units. So imagine getting the TV dial and wherever your TV volume is and reducing it down 12 steps. That's pretty much how we're listening to everybody speak when we're outside, or if you're gonna go to the grocery store. And that in itself is difficult. And then you add social distancing. So anything more than 3 feet away, the speech starts to get softer. And then we add the triple threat, the plexiglass, and then all of a sudden we really get that attenuation of speech. So how do you overcome that? How do we empower you in order to find a way to give a nice boost of speech while you are in the environment that you're in, so that you don't get frustrated and you don't say, oh, forget about it, I'm going home. Or you do what my dad has done in the past and nod, and then all of a sudden he's nodding for, you know, maybe an extra bag of oranges that he didn't want, you know, to add into his grocery cart. So we do want you to be able to be active listeners, and ultimately, you know, use the tech tools that you have in order to make your life easier, to be able to not only hear, but listen to what other people are saying, so that you can be an active listener in the communication process. So again, for those of you who have the Widex Moment hearing aid, you have the Widex Moment app, and I'll go over that second. So let's start first with those of you who have the Widex Evoke app. Okay, so I'm going to do a screen share. And in case the tiles start rearranging, those of you who are on a desktop or even on an iPad, you can actually click over to be able to make your screen a little bit larger if you would like to. So here we go. I'm going to start going live with my app on my phone. And I am going to go to the Widex Evoke app, which is this purple app in the upper right-hand corner. Again, those of you who have the Widex Moment app, we will launch that here in about 3 minutes. But what we're going to do is walk you through 2 tools in the software. So I'm just gonna put my app into demo mode. So again, those of you who have your Widex Evoke app, you're gonna have different programs than what you're seeing here on the screen. Whatever programs that Dr. Julia and her team programmed for you is what you're going to see in the lineup. So where we are right now, for those of you with the Widex Evoke app, you're going to go to probably your universal program or your main program that you do most of your listening in. And again, to overcome masks, typically masks will reduce the high tones or the high pitches. That's exactly where the consonant sounds are, like the S sound and the F sound. So if somebody says peach, like peach as in the fruit, you may hear teach, like teach as in teacher. And those two, all that's different is that first syllable, and that could make a difference between you talking about fruit and you talking about school. So in order for us to help overcome how face masks are reducing speech, we're going to do a high tone or a high pitch boost in your app that you can save. So again, for those of you who are wearing the Widex Evoke product, you're just going to go to your universal or your primary program that you're in. And right at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see a little blue box that says Sound Menu. So do all of you with a thumbs up if you're doing this with your Evoke, do you see Sound Menu? Okay, perfect. So click on that. Once you click on Sound Menu, the second step down says Equalizer. Do we all see Equalizer? Thumbs up. We see Equalizer. Awesome. Once you click on Equalizer, you will see these 3 sliders. It's for the low tones, the mid tones, and the high tones. We're going to do the high tone slider, or what we call the treble, the high pitch slider. And you're going to slide it up +3 or +4. That's going to make your hearing devices a little sharper, a little brighter. But that's what you need to have that boost to overcome the face mask. So everybody, are you up to a +3 or +4 on your slider? Thumbs up. Perfect. Now, do you guys see the arrow in the upper left-hand corner? We're going to back out of there. So do the arrow. And now your app is going to wait for you to save this. Do you all see about in the middle of the screen, it says save as? Do we see save as? Thumbs up?
No.
Nope. Nope. Genevieve, you don't see save as?
No,
So
mine-
Genevieve, you might be, let me go back here 1 second. So you might be here still. Are you in this screen?
No.
And then
You see,
see, where are you?
I did that. Wait. Oh, I did the equalizer. I did
Okay.
a 4, and then I did the arrow
Yep.
at the top left corner,
Okay.
and then I come back to this sound menu.
To a sound menu. Okay, so Genevieve, we might take, let's handle you in about 1 minute, okay? So
Okay.
hang tight. Those of you who are at this screen where it says save as, go ahead and hit the save as box. And then you should be able to type something in. So we are going to type in the word mask, M-A-S-K. So I'll wait here for a second. Again, we're just going to save that high tone boost as a mask program. Those of you who already did that, and if you are giving me a thumbs up, I'll wait for a second. Those of you who already did that, you can hit next. You can pick whatever image or what we call the icon. So I'm going to hit next. I can pick whatever icon I want. So I'm just going to leave it in the default, the little heart picture. And then at the bottom, I'm going to hit create. So I'm going to, on the bottom, there's that blue box that says create. And now in my program lineup, I have that program called Mask that already has that high tone boost for me when I'm out and about and dealing with people with wearing masks.
I have a question.
Yes, Jim.
Under my Widex Moment app is showing streaming speech and streaming music, and it does that when I'm streaming, of course, but when I no longer wish to stream, how do I get back to the default?
Yep. So when you're streaming, you just have to stop streaming, Jim, in that model of hearing device.
The point is, I didn't start streaming intentionally.
Oh,
it just seems to have happened.
Ah, okay, okay. So is there a in the upper left, is there an arrow or an X for you, Jim? So you're in a different app than we are doing, which is totally fine. We'll go through the Moment app here in a second.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'll wait till we get to the Moment app.
No problem, no problem. So Genevieve, we will probably help you afterwards. I'm not sure why we did some. I'm just going to walk through this again for all of you. And before we walk through that one more time, and then Jim, we'll come and do the Widex Moment app with you because everything's laid out just a little bit differently. Now, let's say
if I can just mention, if you hit that arrow, if you mistakenly keep hitting it, you can exit out of creating that program, and that'll bring you back to that sound demo page that she was talking about. So make sure just to click that arrow at the top left once, because if you accidentally click it again, it just might exit you out completely. That's just a tip I wanted to throw out there in case someone's pressing that top left.
Thanks, Dr. Natalie. So all of you who are still in the Evoke app and you're wearing the Evoke hearing device, I just want to walk you through if you did want to remove or delete the program, you can always erase it. And trust me, you can't break this hearing aid if you're creating programs. I think that's something else that sometimes people go, Jodi, I'm so scared to do a program because what if I break the hearing aids? You won't break the hearing aids. We've got 12-year-olds and 15-year-olds creating all kinds of programs for themselves, you know, for them to hear and listen. So in order to ever delete or remove a program, you can just, again, go to whatever program. We're not gonna, don't delete it because we already created a mask program, but I'll walk you through the steps. So when you go to your mask program, on the bottom where it says sound menu, there, And then in the upper right-hand corner, do some of you or all of you who are using this right now for just the Evoke, in the upper right-hand corner, there's 3 little dots. And I don't know if you can see those 3 little dots. For me, I'm starting to need readers, so sometimes that might be a little tiny, but in the upper right-hand corner, there's 3 little dots. If you click on those 3 little dots in the upper right-hand corner, at the very bottom is where you can delete the program. And that's for those of you who are in the Widex Evoke product. Genevieve, you're actually in a different model of device. You're in the Widex Beyond, and the app is slightly different. So Genevieve, I will, I'll launch the Beyond app right after we do the other version of the hearing device. So if you sit tight for maybe 2 more minutes, we'll do the Evoke app for those of you who are wearing the Evoke product, and then we'll go from there. So those of you who just walked through these steps with the Widex Evoke product, how are we with creating a program? Thumbs up, thumbs middle, or meh, thumbs down? You're still a little shaky on that. How do we feel about that? Faye, thumbs up, awesome. What about Sue? I know you were following along. Sue, you pretty good? Okay, and then anybody else that was following along? James, what are you wearing? You have the Evoke, or you have the Widex Moment hearing device? I see your nice smiling face there.
And I don't know if you know, but I'm Carol, and I'm on here too.
Hi, Carol.
I just went through the app, and it's good. I was fine.
Awesome. Thank you, Carol. Fantastic. Okay, now those of you who are wearing the Widex Moment product, that's something Dr. Julia probably fit you with within the last 3 to 4 months, potentially. I'm going to now launch that mode. So again, those of you who have the Widex Moment hearing aid, your app is a black box here on the bottom middle of the screen. It's a black and white W. So we're going to launch that. So I think, Jim, you were the one that said you have the Moment app, right, Jim? Okay, cool.
Yes.
So let's launch that. And Jay, you're using Beyond. Okay, so Jay and Genevieve will do the Beyond app here right after the Moment app. Perfect. So those of you who are in the Moment app will do the same thing. We're going to walk through a mask program. So Jim, depending upon what programs Dr. Julia gave you, you're either going to create the mask program off of the Universal or in the new program that we have called Pure Sound. So whichever base listening program you want to start with, we're going to add a boost to that, okay?
Okay, I first need to get out of the streaming mode.
Yeah, so let's do this, Jim. Let's close out your app. Do you know how to close out your app?
I did, and then I relaunched it. So I'll do that.
Oh, you know what, Jim? Are you on this Zoom meeting with me with your ears?
No.
Nope.
No, I'm using the computer speakers.
Ah, okay. So if you close out of the app and then relaunch it, let's see what happens.
Comes up streaming speech, and then there's streaming music.
Okay.
So something's trying to stream, but.
Yep, something's trying to stream. So on your phone, you're not on the Zoom meeting on your phone, right?
Let me turn the computer speakers off to make sure I can't still hear you.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can still hear you.
I cannot hear you, so it's not coming through my hearing aids.
Okay. So Jim, do you have your ears back on again?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then if you launch the Widex Moment app again, where does it take you back to
Okay,
Universal?
now it's back to the Universal as the default.
Okay,
program.
perfect.
I think I'm back in business now.
Good. Sometimes the hearing aid, kind of has some hiccups, so it's all good. Okay, perfect.
Good.
So Those of you who are using the Widex Moment version, then let's just start in the Universal program. So you're going to go to Universal, and then to the right of the volume control, okay, to the right of the volume control, there's a circle with some lines in it. So I'm going to hit that little bubble. It's a circle with the lines in it. When I hit that, I get the ear volume controls, and then at the bottom right, I'm going to do Equalizer. So again, this is only for people who are wearing the Widex Moment hearing device. So those of you who are wearing the Widex Moment device, let me know when you're at this screen here, the Equalizer. How we doing, James? Okay, perfect, James. James, so at the bottom right, I want you to click on the box, James, that says Equalizer. Do you see that? All right, perfect. Good. All right, so now that you're there, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to the Treble Slider. My voice is going to probably get a little bit sharp right now, but that's what we're looking for once you use this program with somebody wearing a mask. So go up to 3 or 4, whatever, you know, if you can go to 4 and it doesn't sound too harsh, let's leave it at 4. And then we're going to back out of here and save the settings. So in the upper left-hand corner, there's a down arrow. Do we see that? James and Jim? Perfect. And then now in the middle of the screen, it says Save As. So click Save As. And then we're going to type in mask, just like we did with the other group that was wearing the Widex Evoke product. Now we're going to hit next or done, either one. Pick whatever picture or icon you want it to be, circle, star, whatever. And now you have that lovely mask program in your lineup. So that should get you a good start as soon as you walk outside and you're going to go, you know, talk safely with friends 6 feet away. You're going to want to go to that mask program because automatically it'll boost people's speech for you and give that extra little punch you may need for that. Jim and James, are we good with that? Perfect. Now, again, you can't break the app, so don't freak out. If you guys ever want to remove or delete programs, I'm going to walk you through how to do. Don't delete this one, but let's just show you the steps. Okay, so go to your mask program. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a circle with 3 dots. Okay, so go to your mask program. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a circle with 3 dots. Click on that. And that's at the very bottom. That's how you would delete the program if you don't want it anymore. My dad has actually created 2 different programs, one for kind of a face mask that's a cloth, and then one when it goes to his doctor's appointments, because most of the time when you're at a doctor's appointment, they're wearing the more heavy duty N95 mask, and the N95 masks really attenuate speech. So sometimes you'll have to boost up your hearing device even more when you're going to offices or places where they're wearing a pretty tight N95 mask around their face. So again, if you're going to any of those doctor visits, you may start with the mask program, and then on top of that, you may need to boost the hearing device just a little bit more for you. Okay, perfect, good job. So those of you, Genevieve, and then who else said that they're in the Widex Beyond? Jay, Genevieve and Jay.
Bill.
And Bill, you're in the Beyond product as well?
Yes, I am.
All right, perfect. So I am going to launch the Widex Beyond app. And you know what? I might have deleted it. So now you guys are going to watch me download the app. Let me get that here for you. So as we're doing this, I wanted to just talk about a couple other things within the communication and effort in listening. It is not uncommon for people to share with me that it's much more tiring to communicate with people now because of social distancing, because of the distraction of not having lip cues anymore. And if you are going to get together with some friends who you get together frequently with, and I don't actually have my clear mask, but they make these really awesome masks that have a clear partition right around the mouth. And I don't know, Dr. Julia, if you actually carry those at the office, but those have been really, really helpful for people, especially if they have a little bit more hearing loss, that the clear mask is a really, really nice option, especially if you're getting together with certain amounts of folks. So again, for those of you with the Widex Beyond app, the layout's just a little bit different, but we're going to do the same steps. So start off in your primary program, which is pretty much typically the universal, okay? And then at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see sound menu. So you'll click on that.
Okay.
And then the first option at the bottom is going to be Equalizer. Do we all see that? Equalizer. So go ahead and click that. Same thing on the treble slider. Let's put that to +3 or +4. Again, my voice should sound maybe a little bit more tinny, a little bit bright. That's the whole point once you're listening to somebody with a mask. And then Genevieve and Bill, and I don't remember who, Jim, is it Jim? No, maybe the other. Under the Equalizer, upper left-hand corner, let's back out of there. So there's an arrow, a blue arrow in the upper left. We're gonna back out of that. There.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh shoot, you know what? And then, okay. And then go to quote unquote add new program. Do you guys see that at the bottom where it says plus? That's how it's a little bit different. Oops, that might
What happened?
And then it says it defaults to just say favorite, and we can actually rename this if you want to mask. So if you highlight the favorite program that we created, sorry, out of here.
Okay.
If we go to the favorite program that you created, I don't know if it allows you to rename now. It might, it's, you know what, it's in this version, it's just gonna,
I think if you slide it to the left.
Yeah, you can do edit.
There you go. Edit.
Yep, let's do that. So sorry, I'm all over the screens here, people. I apologize for those of you who are in the product. So again, you're going to be, whoops, let's let my computer catch up. It's stuck here. Hold on one sec. Let me go back here. All right. So again, down when you highlight the favorites and you hit the star at the very bottom where it says programs. So highlight the favorite, go to programs. You can hit in the upper right-hand corner, you can hit edit. And then under that favorite area, you can hit edit. And that's where you can change the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a couple. So what happens is it didn't allow you to do open text yet in this first version of the app with the Beyond that we came out with a couple years ago. So if anything, you know what, you can label it speech if you want, which is nice. And then back out of there. And then I think I saw a chat here. Jay, okay, cool. So everybody kind of has a different version of the device, but the take-home message is this: you are in control of your environment. You can definitely go somewhere, and if you're not hearing well, you can go and make a high tone boost in order to overcome face coverings. And if you want to go that extra step for some of the models, there is something called SoundSense Learn, which is a learning feature of the hearing device that you all have a version of. So the hearing device, if you want to launch the learning of the listening habits of your hearing device, when you are in areas that you're just not hearing the way you want to hear. So let's say, you know, this weekend you're going to go somewhere for about an hour and maybe meet up with some friends and safely social distance, and you're having a hard time communicating with them. If you don't want to or don't feel comfortable manipulating the equalizer area, let the learning take control and be able to do that for you. So all of you, again, have a different learning option there. So let me actually go back here. Let me close this out. So let me go to start with where the learning is in the Widex Evoke product. So again, those of you who are wearing the Widex Evoke and your app is purple, I'm just going to walk you through a couple of steps of how to do some learning. And it looks like for most of you, you're somewhere in a quiet place. You're not sitting in somewhere that's noisy. But we're gonna launch this and maybe you can do the learning for the level of my voice. So again, those of you with the Evoke, you're going to launch your Evoke app. And when you launch your Evoke app, you're going to launch the learning feature of it. So start off in your universal or your primary program. And then you're going to go to, at the bottom, you're going to go to Sound menu. And then you're going to see a tool at the very top called SoundSense Learn. That is the automatic robotic learning of your hearing device. What it does is it scans the environment, figures out of 2 million ways to get you to hear the right way, it's going to try to narrow down choices for you. Kind of like when you go to the eye doctor and they put lenses on you when they check your vision and they start flipping the lenses and they start saying, do you like 1 or 2 or A or B? The learning feature of our Widex hearing device is nice because wherever you are, if you're at home, if you're maybe in the car, if you're, let's say, at a coffee shop trying to order something to go, and it's, you know, things are just not, you know, sounding right, you can actually launch the learning feature. It scans your live environment, gives you a couple of options to listen to, and then you can save the setting that way. So how many of you order from Amazon? Anybody order from Amazon? Anybody order from other online retailers? I don't know if you know, but on the very bottom, sometimes when you're ordering online at Amazon, it says, you might like, Jim, you know, and maybe, Jim, you're shopping for, I don't know, maybe a wrench or maybe toilet paper. You might like. So at the very bottom, Amazon uses something called machine learning. It learns what you like, and then it suggests something accordingly. The hearing device does the same thing. It tries to learn what you like in terms of listening. And the reason for that is even if all of us here on the Zoom today had the exact same hearing loss, we would all have different listening needs. So just because the hearing loss is similar or the same, we know in audiology that people have very, very different listening habits, even though the hearing is the same. And that's what this learning or SoundSense Learn is trying to help with. So how do you do that? Again, I'll show you with the Widex Evoke app, then I'll show you it with the Widex Moment app, and you guys can play around with it as I go along. So again, those of you with the Widex Evoke hearing aid, you're going to go to SoundSense Learn. It's going to say, where are you right now? So if you are at home, then you're going to hit the home bubble. And then what is your hearing goal right now? So maybe you want to, let's pick conversation. So depending upon where you are and what we call listening intent, everybody's listening intent can be different. I am a mother of 2 kids, and sometimes my listening intent is to ignore my kids because they're being so obnoxious. And sometimes I do have to pay attention to them and focus, right? So even though I hear them, that doesn't mean I'm ready to listen. And I think that's something kind of unique about us as human beings is we can decide from moment to moment, do we want to pay attention or not? So today, hopefully, our goal is conversation. At the bottom, you're going to hit next. Now, everybody who is on the Zoom doing this, when you listen to the sound option A, and then go ahead and listen to the sound option B, and you can toggle between A and B, your environment should change in sound just a little bit when you compare it in A versus B. And all the app wants to do is ask you, which one do you prefer? Do you like B better? Do you like A better? And then you're going to hit next. So you're going to want to do this A and B for probably 2 or 3 times. When you hit next, it's going to give you another option to listen to. Option A, option B. Again, use the slider. Which one sounds better to you? Because you're the only one with your hearing and your brain. So whatever sounds good to you, you are going to, again, hear the difference between my voice on A versus B. Which one do you like? And then hit next. So do that a couple of times. And what we find is globally, there's been over 2 million programs created by people using this learning feature. Maybe they have it for work, maybe they have it for home, maybe they have it for watching television. So you can use the learning feature to create different programs depending upon what you're listening to and what your listening goal is. Whenever you're done with this tool, it always gives you the option to exit. So at the bottom of your screen, you can hit exit. I can save it. And I would save it as, because today we're doing a Zoom session. I can save it as Zoom session if I want to, because maybe every week you guys are jumping on with Dr. Julia's group and doing Zoom. So that might be something that you might want to use. Again, same thing, you pick your icon, you hit create, and then now you have a program called Zoom session. Or, you know, last week when I helped the college student is actually going back online for school. And so he actually created some different streaming programs for school because different professors spoke at different levels when he was doing his Zoom calls. So that was for the Widex Evoke app. Those of you who have the new Widex Moment app, I will show you where the learning is as well. So again, going here to the Widex Moment device, it's that black and white app for those of you who are wearing the newer Widex Moment. Where is the learning feature on that? It's right there at the bottom middle of the screen. So Jim, you're wearing the new Moment product, right? So there at the very bottom where it says SoundSense Learn, that's where you would launch it. You're going to hit, I want to do a new program. Same thing, it's going to ask you, where are you? Well, I'm at, you know, I am in a quiet place. I'm trying to hear conversations. And then it starts that same A and B comparison. So again, those of you with the newer Widex product, you can go to session, you can listen to session A, you can listen to option B, which do you prefer, and hit next. You don't have to finish the entire progress bar of the app. You can just stop whenever you are listening to something that you feel, you know what, this is actually, I'm in a really good place. So where would people use this? I've had nurses who are actually at work and they are trying to listen to different listening environments. We have one nurse that's in the ER. It's a very, very different listening situation than when she is on a different floor. We have people who are saying, hey, I'm just, you know, every week I get together with my family, social distancing, and I actually created a program in that environment and save that with my learning feature. So use this as an extension of Dr. Julia. if you are somewhere and you are not hearing the way that you want to hear, you can launch the learning to help you get to a place that you can immediately hear better, and let the app help scan your environment and do what it needs to do to give you better hearing in that moment. So again, those of you with the Widex Moment product, you're gonna, again, do this A and B a couple times so you're hearing just the way you wanna hear. At the bottom, you're gonna hit save and exit. And then same thing, you're gonna wanna save and exit. You get to type in, you know, Zoom call or whatever you wanna label it as, and then create that as your secondary program.
Question.
Questions? Yep, Jim?
Once again, my Widex Moment app has gone to
Streaming?
streaming, and I killed it and started again. It was still streaming. Now it's popped up with the universal again. Is there a way to intentionally make it change back if it's in the wrong mode?
Yeah, so are you wearing an Apple Watch, Jim, or do you have a Fitbit?
I am wearing an Apple Watch.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing, and maybe Dr. Julia can set up an appointment for you virtually. So the Apple Watch, because it sends some signals to your ears, it will put our hearing aids in streaming mode when it's trying to send you an alert. So it assumes you want to have that communication with the watch. So we just have to actually unpair and pair it afterwards, after your hearing aids, and then that should actually help that little kind of hiccup that you're dealing with right now.
So unpair the watch, make sure the hearing aids are paired, and then
Yep.
pair the watch again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's great. Good to know. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. That happens. Any of you who have Fitbits or you're planning to get a Fitbit to track your steps, all of that should be paired after your hearing aid. So if it was paired before your hearing devices, you're going to want to delete that from your phone and then pair it afterwards. And then all the tech should get along a little bit better with each other.
Got it.
Now, the whole point of today's session was to really teach you guys to empower yourselves in terms of different situations for where you are for listening, right? So it's something as simple as maybe changing your programs. If you have different program setups, could make that situation a little bit better for you. Those of you who are, again, you're using the app on your phones, if you have the Beyond app or the Evoke app or the Moment app, you actually have a microphone mode as well on your hearing device. So when you are looking at your regular program lineup, if you keep scrolling on your program lineup, you're going to see an option called Directional Focus. And the cool thing that you get to do that people with normal hearing don't get to do is you get to steer how you want the hearing device to pick up sound. So the Directional Focus program, so let's say I'm driving, right before I get started driving in my car, and I kind of want to hear what's going on in the back of my car because I have my big 70-pound Labrador in the back of my car. And if I want to get a little bit more info in the back, I can always hit back, and the hearing device will boost a little bit more of what's in the back for me. Let's say I am doing outdoor dining with a friend, and they're sitting to the right of me, then I can actually change my hearing device to boost to the right of me, because maybe my friend has always been such a soft talker. That will help boost that situation as well. So all of you should have the option to do what we call the directional focus, meaning that if I go back again and go to my primary program, Universal, or if you have the newer product, Pure Sound, you might have a music program that you like, whatever it is. Again, once you start to wanting to direct and really focus in on certain sounds physically around you. So again, let's say you're sitting at a table and that person to your left is really soft. Scroll over to your directional focus. You can highlight that. and then hit left, and it's going to highlight somebody on your left. It'll still pick up the room, but it'll actually direct a little bit more of the focus to the left side. Don't be like my mom and forget to take it out of directional focus. So when you're done with that situation, then always remember to go back to your regular hearing aid setting. Otherwise, you're going to walk outside and you're going to go, why can't I hear anything on the right side? Everything sounds so much louder on the left. So go ahead, when you're done with that directional focus, you can just go back to your primary program, and that primary program will automatically do an auto speech finder for you and pick up speech where it needs to be. So Jay had texted a question here. So let me read this for a second, Jay. Didn't book my phone. Went to my ears, get to my car, my ears. Yes, okay. So those of you who have the hearing devices connected to multiple things, and if you have your car connected also to your phone, and to limit the fighting of the hearing aids to the ears versus the phone to the car. Jay, it's the same thing. Typically, whatever you had paired to your iPhone first will take priority, typically. So it depends on the car and it depends on the model. So for instance, I owned a Toyota, and no matter when I paired the Toyota to my phone, the Toyota always trumped my hearing aids, always, no matter what. So that their Bluetooth protocol took priority. And same thing, you know, I rode in a Lexus, and I just to kind of compare, because they're kind of the same, right, umbrella brand. And the same thing, the Lexus, no matter when I paired the hearing aids, the Lexus Bluetooth always trumped my hearing aids, even though I wanted the hearing aids to be first. So in that sort of situation, I usually will just ask the patient, you know, which do you prefer? How do you prefer to listen to conversations if you're in the car? So my dad owns a Prius. He hears way better on the phone call when it goes to his ears. So we just forgot his Prius on his phone, so the phone wouldn't connect to the Prius, and then got him a vent mount for his phone. And then that way people can hear him nice and easy. So it depends on the car type that you have and the year of the car. Some of the newer Ford products, same thing. It doesn't matter when you program the hearing device on the phone, it always will override and not go to your hearing aids. It will actually always decide to use if you paired your phone to the car, it will always go to your car speakers first. So that might be a conversation you might want to have with Dr. Julia once, you know, you guys can talk about the car model that you have. Sometimes pairing it after will help the sequence a little bit better for you.
When you talk about pairing sequences, is the list that you see when you pull up your your items that you potentially pair to, is that the priority order that it does it?
Not always,
Okay.
and I think it depends on the version of the iPhone or Android that you have. So not always, but typically it is in the order that was linked to your phone. That's typical if you see top to bottom.
Yeah, this is good because we've got two Priuses in the family and
Okay.
one Dodge Ram.
Okay.
And when the vehicle takes it away from the phone, then I lose all the programs that I have that make my hearing, work so well. And so all of a sudden I can't hear what's going on, and people are going, "Hey, are you there? Are you there?" So I got 30 minutes of chaos, as I try to get the truck unhooked, from what's going on. So yeah, these are really good ideas. Thank you.
Yep. And I don't know how savvy you are with turning your Bluetooth on. Well, and you probably don't want to do that. I'm just trying to think through. Do you prefer to hear through your car and the speakers, or would you rather not?
When I'm listening to a book or music, the stereo in the car and the truck are just fine. But when
Okay.
I get somebody on a phone,
Yeah.
I need to boost the treble stuff like you were going through, and I have to boost the mid range up a little bit. Almost set it up like I do to be able to listen to TV appropriately, and I have to raise the volume a little bit too.
Okay. Okay. So, you know, on the car, in the cars that you feel you're not hearing as like my dad's Prius, he could not, the road noise was so loud in the Prius, he heard way better in his hearing devices.
Yeah.
So he just ended up forgetting the Prius on his phone and then using again, a vent mount, to be able to do conversations in that car. He's got a really loud Ford truck that doesn't even have Bluetooth, so it doesn't matter there. But the road noise can definitely hinder speech. So, you know, I think before you go into a scenario, and you guys also need to know Bluetooth can pick up in up to 50 feet sometimes. So like if my husband is out in the yard, and if I turn my car on, if his phone connects to my car first, his iPhone trumps my phone. And so if I'm making a phone call, it all of a sudden goes to his phone because both of our phones are connected to the car. So I think that's the other thing too, is just knowing whose phone is connected to what device. Those of you who don't even want to deal with the Bluetooth in the car, then you don't even ever have to pair your phone to the car. Others of you, you know, you like sort of the best of both worlds. So if you are in a car and it is streaming through your car, I would pull over on the side of the road because you can change just in your iPhone the option to stream through your car, through your speakerphone, or through your hearing aids. So that is something on an iPhone that you can do in real time, but you definitely don't want to be doing that while you're driving. So, right? So disclaimer. So if you are, again, you want to keep, you know, your phone, let's say, paired to your Dodge, because sometimes audiobooks sound really good coming through the car speakers. But let's say a phone call does come through, or you do want to make a phone call, again, by default, because the phone's already connected to the car, what you can do as you're dialing is the iPhone will automatically go to your car first. And if you hit the little Bluetooth symbol, there's a little circle that has like two little triangles in it. If you click on that, your iPhone will give you the option to do your car, to do your speakerphone, or to do your hearing aids. And then you can actually shoot the call right to your hearing aids. So I would practice that in your driveway, Jay.
I do use that quite a bit.
Okay, yeah. So practice that in your driveway. Don't do it when you're driving. Perfect. Okay, cool. So Bill, you said, is there SoundSense Learn for the Moment app? Yes, there absolutely is the SoundSense Learn for the Moment app. So, and Bill, you're still on mute. Let me try to see if I can unmute you, or maybe you just have to unmute yourself. I think Dr. Julia has to unmute you. I can see you talking, Bill, but I can't.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I meant, which one am I? I'm Beyond. You didn't do
Beyond,
SoundSense for Beyond.
So the Beyond product, in your, you do have SoundSense Learn in the Beyond. So let me go live in that real quick. So I'll show you, actually, hold on, that was Evoke. Let me go to Beyond for a second here. And no, you don't have SoundSense in Beyond. Bill, where are you? There you go.
I'm here. Yeah, I didn't think so. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we started that in the Evoke product. So there is, you don't have the learning in the Beyond. That was our first generation of 2.4. Was there any other questions for those of you, you know, Carol or Catherine or Kathleen? You guys have been awful quiet here. Are there any specific questions that you wanted to address for me to maximize? So Genevieve, you go first, and Fane, we'll do you second.
Okay.
I want to get a new desktop computer, and they have Bluetooth now on that. So you talking about the Bluetooth, so I should pair my hearing aids, then you pair your computer, or how does that all work? I'm just learning about all this.
Yes, so how does that all work? So when you have a new computer that has Bluetooth, you ideally would still and you want to, hook up to your hearing aids, your hearing devices. There is 2 different jumper options to take sound from a laptop or a desktop computer to go to your hearing devices. And Dr. Julia, I don't know if you guys actually have stock of the Unidex or the Comdex at your office.
In Genevieve, I was just preparing a blog. It won't be out until the end of September about stay-at-home options that we were going to talk about that. So that's perfect. This is perfect timing. Yes.
Do you want to address that, Dr. Julia?
Why don't you go through and talk?
Okay. So Genevieve, we have when you're wearing Widex hearing devices, there are there's 2 different neck loop options. One is Bluetooth, and one you just plug into the jack that you would put the headphones plugged into if you you wore headphones. So on the side of either an Apple computer or a PC computer, some of them still have the headphone jack. And if they do, then Dr. Julia has a neck loop specifically for Widex that all you have to do is put the neck loop over your neck and plug it into the headphone jack. And then anything, Zoom calls, any audiobooks that you want to watch, maybe it's an iPad that you have stuff on, all you do is plug it in and it works. There's no Bluetooth pairing of any sort, but it wirelessly goes to your hearing device. And that's called a neck loop called a Unidex. If you're like my husband, who likes to walk around, do the dishes, still listen to his little audiobooks, whatever, then you're going to want to get the Bluetooth neck loop called the Comdex. And I'll write that in the chat for you guys here. So again, the laptop or iPad neck loop are called Unidex, and that is called a hard wire, or it plugs into a headphone jack. The other option, if you want Bluetooth neck loop, is called the Comdex. And that you can add that, then Genevieve, you would pair the Comdex to your computer, and then you can walk up to 50 feet away and still hear a Zoom call. You could go and do laundry and still hear somebody on FaceTime. So whatever tablet you have, if you have a Surface tablet or you have an Apple tablet, anything that has Bluetooth, you can use the little Comdex Bluetooth device, link that to your electronic system, and then it will go wirelessly to your ears.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Good.
Can I add one thing? So
Yes.
one thing that patients have really enjoyed with having either of those is that the microphone is built in and it's right near your mouth. So
Yes.
instead of having to carry your iPhone around with you and talk into it, then it's handy. And a lot of people, even though they have the iPhone that connects directly to their hearing aids, they still prefer to use either of those.
Yes. Did that answer your question, Genevieve?
Yes, thank you so much.
Perfect. You'll be all high tech and looped up, no problem. So, what was your question, Faye?
Well, mine is the last time I was on an airplane, I was, I don't know, listening to music or it was coming through my hearing aids, and there was so much engine noise and background noise, I couldn't hear any of it. And I started fiddling with my phone, and I got to something, and I'm not quite sure how I got there, and then I could never get back there to adjust that. But would that be through the SoundSense?
You can try the SoundSense, but when and if it becomes more safe for all of you to jump on an airplane, Or let's say you're even somewhere where it's really noisy and you only want to pay attention to what's streaming through your phone. You probably muted your hearing aid microphones, Fane. And so on your app, all of you, if you're wearing the Beyond or the Evoke or the Moment app, you guys can all mute your hearing aids, and then the streaming becomes so much cleaner and clearer, meaning that you shut off the room noise and you have more streaming. So I'm gonna go live. Those of you who have the Beyond app, Bill, you have the Beyond app there. So let me screen share one more time. And I'll go through each of the different, so my suggestion to all of you, if you're somewhere where the outside noise is really high, you wanna quote unquote, shut that off. The best bet is to mute your hearing aids if you're doing some streaming of something, okay? So, here we go.
If you triple tap your home button, it'll bring it up. And
Yeah,
you can zero it all out as well.
You can double or triple click. That takes you to the Apple app. You can go to the Widex app and then do something similar as well. So again, depending upon your version of phone, if you still have a home button, you can do a double click or a triple click, and then that will take you guys to a special menu that you can either mute or unmute your hearing device. That's within the Apple phone. I apologize, I don't know why I can't, I think I've got too much open here. So hold on one sec. Let me close out some of my apps and get back in. So you can either do that, or those of you who have your app right now, launch your app, and to the left of the volume slider, there's a little speaker with a little kind of line through it. You can tap that speaker on and off, and that's going to mute or unmute me, or you being able to listen to me. So if you're already in your app, in your Widex app, along right where the volume slider is, usually to the left of that, there's a little speaker icon that you can hit. And that speaker icon, if you hit it, it shuts off the hearing aid microphones. If you hit it again, it turns it back on. So Faye, in a loud, noisy airplane, that would be very useful to do. And that pretty much, boom, turns off everything around you. And then the only thing that you can't control is, let's say you've got, you know, some space for some of your voice to let out in your ear. If you're going to be on a long trip, that might be something you might want to contact Dr. Julia's office, because sometimes we can give you some different ear tips that actually occlude or fill up your ear. And that way, if you're on a really noisy place or a plane, like my dad lives in Hawaii, and when he comes to California, it's a 5-hour flight. So he can change out and put some really occluding domes in his ears, because that way he can listen to his music, and he just mutes the airplane. And that way he can hear a lot stronger what's going on in his ears, because his ears are fully filled up with the ear tip that I sent him. So there's some different ways you can actually modify the ear tips as well. And that's something, each of you probably have different ear tips. So that's something you'll want to talk with Dr. Julia about and her team there, because some of you may have different ear tips than others to make that work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Jodi, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Every time I learn something from you. So.
Great, I do too. So thanks you all. Thank you for all of you to pop in today. It's so nice to meet you. It's so nice to hopefully know that all of you are healthy, and hopefully you're hearing well, and now you've got tools to hear even better when you're out and about safely. So thanks, Dr. Julia, for the time, and thanks for inviting us to your Zoom today.
Thank you. And if you have other questions, or if you're saying, you know, I just want to review this a little bit more, make an appointment with me. We can go over it. We could also do it via Zoom. We could do it with Talia or Sandy. And so let me know what you need. Thank you all, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
Yes.